Hello and welcome to the U.S. Botanic Garden production facility. My name is Stephen Jones. I'm a gardener here and an arborist, and I just want to give you a quick nickel tour of one of the many greenhouses in the range here. This particular greenhouse we know is Zone 14, and it houses a large number of our tropical plants. This particular greenhouse we keep hot and humid all year round, so we have a number of plants that would come from equatorial, tropical regions, like these Nepenthes here. We keep this greenhouse between 70 and 85 degrees year round, and we control the humidity based on vapor pressure deficit, and so you'll see relative humidity numbers anywhere from 65 up to 85% in some cases. In this room, but the environment is pretty consistent year-round. The one thing we don't have control over is the sunlight, so this time of year in February we have pretty short days, so those short days limit us on the amount of sunlight we're able to get to the plants, but besides that, it stays nice and warm and humid in here all year round, and that allows us to grow plants like these cacao all year round, and even produce some nice cacao fruit in the middle of winter. Nice reddish color on that cacao. The primary use of this greenhouse is actually our Amorphophallus collection, however, which occupies about half the room on the back side here. And for those of you that are fans that have followed the blooms we've presented from our coarse flower, that plant is Amorphous Titanium, which is most of the plants you see in this picture here. So these large plants, this is a single leaf of Amorphous Titanium, and this is what produces that famous corpse flower bloom, very large bloom. And these leaves get very, very large. This one is actually still on the smaller side. It's a mature plant, but they get much bigger than this. This one's probably 8-10 feet tall, and they'll go up over 15 feet in some cases. Some odd occurrences where a mature tuber produces a number of leaves all at once. But in most cases, these large leaves are what you'll see in this room. So these are all titanium, and see a number of smaller plants here. These are also titanium. These are the results of seeds that we germinated about 2 years ago from a bloom we had in the summer of 2017. All these plants help contribute to our conservation efforts with Chicago Botanic Garden and other gardens across the country and the world to preserve this species, record its genetic diversity, and to try and protect it in the wild. So like I said, this greenhouse primarily for this Amorphophallus collection. We have a number of other species besides titanium, as well as some typhonium like those you see here. And this is quite the refuge for me. I feel quite lucky in the dead of winter. I get to come in here and feel the warmth and humidity that a rainforest along the equator would provide. A number of these Amorphophallus species still remain dormant through the winter, whereas the titanium and some of the other species will grow throughout the year. This one will be familiar to many of you who grow Amorphophallus konjac. The common name is devil's tongue. This plant is hardy to much of the United States. You can grow this outside, and this particular one is starting to produce an inflorescence a little earlier than most because this is inside. So again, I've made a video on this before. I can tell this is an inflorescence because of the way it tapers down at the base, as opposed to a leaf which would be firm all the way to the base, and you'd be able to feel the petiole down here. So that'll be an exciting, in maybe 2-3 weeks we'll have an inflorescence here that'll stink up the room, and we'll share some pictures with you all. I'll just walk one more time down the range so you can see all the plants that we house in here. Quite a variety. A nice bright sunny day in the middle of February is very welcome by me, because the trend is that we'll get cloudy days in the winter, and it's very difficult to keep these plants active. The warmth and humidity helps, but without sunlight, they slow down quite a bit. So, the more days like this, the better. Another interesting plant we house in here in the Wilkes expedition in 1800s. One of the plants that he brought back was this Angioprese. This is a very, very large fern, and this video isn't even going to do it justice, but these fronds get enormous. And this is just one small plant, still on the small side, and in a single pot. So, lots of interesting plants in here. These are always some of the most interesting, our Nepenthes collection that we have here. For me, these pictures do a great job in helping me manage our cockroach population in the room. They're attracted to the sweet nectar produced by these pitchers here, which are part of the modified leaf there. And the cockroaches will crawl down inside there, and they'll get stuck, very slippery, inside that pitcher. So for me, I could use less pesticides because they're attracted to the pitchers. They'll go in there and die on their own. You see a younger pitcher developing. We do have one other large range that houses a lot of our tropical plants. So between the two group greenhouses, primarily they support the large tropics room. If you've been to our conservatory, a lot of the plants that would be installed in that room would come from this greenhouse and that other range. So I hope you enjoyed that small tour. And I hope very much that in the future you do get the chance to come on site to our once-a-year open house. It's always exciting to have you come on site so I can answer your questions and get the opportunity to see the amazing plants that I have the opportunity to care for at the U.S. Botanic Garden. Hope you have a great rest of your winter. Thanks for joining.